Has Nintendo forgotten about Mario for the second half of 2026? So it sure seems that way, because in the first half of the year, we got Mario Tennis Fever in February, then we got the Mario Galaxy movie in April, and we also got the Bella Bell Park DLC for Mario Wonder, and that seems to be it. So one full Mario game for all of 2026, because in the Direct, there's almost nothing Mario related outside of like the Donkey Kong Challenge thing. And no, Yoshi does not count as a Mario game, it's a completely separate thing. So it's just a very light year for Mario games. And it's not like we got like a big 3D Mario or even a Mario RPG, which I was expecting. But we literally got Mario Tennis Fever and a DLC in terms of the games for the first full year of the Switch 2. So I think that's a little disappointing if I'm being honest. I know someone's probably going to take this video out of context to get upvotes and have some like quippy comment that doesn't actually reflect the video, or someone probably already commented without watching to this point in the video. But the point isn't to say Nintendo has nothing for 2026 or the second half of 2026, because they do have games. There's Splatoon Raiders, there's Star Fox coming out very soon. There's a new Fire Emblem Rhythm Heaven, of course Ocarina of Time. But I was hoping for some sort of Mario game for the back half of the year, like a Mario RPG, because now this looks like it's going to be the first time in like 15, 16 years where there will be a more than 2-year gap between Mario RPGs. So I actually did a video about this earlier in the year, but going back to when Sticker Star came out, there's never been 2 calendar years in a row without a Mario RPG releasing in some form. The most recent were, of course, the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake in 2024, as well as Brothership, and those came out pretty close to each other. And unless we get a surprise announcement, or maybe they have like a direct in September and announce it for like December or something, it's looking like that streak is going to end. We're obviously not getting a 3D Mario this year, so I think we can move on to speculating about that for 2027. And it doesn't seem like we're getting really anything else from Mario this year. Someone might say, well, the Mario Galaxy movie came out this year, that's what we got. And that's a movie, it's not a video game. And I'm not saying Nintendo has to release 5 Mario games every year for it to be a good year, but in terms of games, this year is objectively light for Mario games. And the one full game we got was not that great, like it was an alright tennis game. So at this point, we got to start speculating about 2027. So what's going to be happening there? Because we can talk about 3D Mario. I know it's going to be the topic of discussion. Rumors suggest that it's finally happening next year. But besides that, what else are we going to get? A Mario RPG? Like, it's been now 6 years since the last brand new Paper Mario game, and that actually is the longest gap between Paper Mario games since the series started. We got Paper Mario in 2000, Thousand Year Door in 2004, Super Paper Mario in 2007, Sticker Star in 2012, Color Splash in 2016, and Origami King in 2020. So let's speculate a little bit. What is Nintendo going to do in 2027? Because this has been a pretty disappointing year for Mario games. So going back to 2025 first, there wasn't too much, but we got Mario Kart World, which was the big game. So even though Mario Kart World obviously is a disappointment to a lot of people, it's still a new Mario Kart game. Like, it is a big Mario game, so you can kind of forgive the rest of the year being a little lighter. But even besides that, we did get the Mario Galaxy remaster, so not new games, but still a new way to experience 2 of my favorite games of all time. Probably my top 2 favorite games of all time. But we also got Donkey Kong Bonanza, which, while not a Mario game, still a fantastic 3D platformer and kind of made the wait for a new 3D Mario like a little more bearable. So I think 2027 we'll probably get some sort of Mario Kart World DLC. I was expecting that this year. If they weren't going to release new Mario games for the rest of the year, I was expecting at least Mario Kart World DLC, but that's seeming like it's not going to happen now. I still think we're going to see some sort of Mario RPG next year. And I'd also love to see Nintendo do like a newer idea with the Mario series, because I feel like it's been some time since we've gotten like a really creative new Mario IP. Like, the last one I could really think of, like Super Mario Maker, I think, like the original Super Mario Maker. Unless there's any that I'm forgetting. Like, actually, there was Super Mario 35, which was a cool idea, but that doesn't even exist anymore. So I'd like to see Nintendo try out some new ideas on the Switch 2. Like, not even just saying it has to be a main series or RPG, but some sort of new idea with Mario. Because by far, the Switch 2 is Nintendo's most powerful system. So I'm curious to see, like, what they can do on the system. I don't really expect that to happen, though, because I think Nintendo's kind of set on the games that they're releasing. I'm sure we'll get a new 2D Mario game at some point in the Switch 2's life cycle, but with the Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Wonder, I don't think it's going to happen, at least for a couple years. Same with Mario Party. We got the Switch 2 edition of Jamboree last year. We've gotten a couple Mario RPG remakes. We've gotten the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake on the past couple years. So there's been like a lot of remakes and a lot of Switch 2 editions recently. And I don't necessarily hate remakes. I actually think remakes could be a really good thing if they're done right. Like, I think the Thousand Year Door and Super Mario RPG remakes were fantastic. I thought the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake was good, but it's like very much the original game in HD. But as someone who's played pretty much all the Mario games, I'm looking for something new on the Switch 2, because there really hasn't been much or is upcoming for the beginning of the Switch 2 and the rest of the year. So I think this is still a good time to play other games on Switch 2, because there's a ton of other games to play, a lot of other series to play. For example, if you haven't played the Pikmin games, or Resident Evil, even though it's not a Nintendo franchise, the games are on Switch 2 now, or at least 7, 8, and 9 are. And in addition to those, a couple of the older ones. Like, give Metroid a try. Nintendo has a lot of other games, And I think that with this gap of no Mario games and Nintendo seemingly forgetting Mario for the back half of 2026, I think it is a good opportunity to experience some of these games. Because for as much as I'd like there to be new content in the series, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think Nintendo is just never making a new Mario game again, because that would obviously be ridiculous. And I don't think that Nintendo needs to make a new 3D Mario for that year to be good for the Mario series. Like, I think if we're looking at last year, I don't think it was the best year for Mario, but I mean, we got a new Mario Kart and we got a remaster of arguably the best games in the series. That being said, I've said that I don't think the back half of 2026 is awful for Nintendo. Like, we are getting some good games, or games that look good, especially the Ocarina of Time remake. But I think just having a Mario game in there, like, would have made the lineup look a little bit stronger. Like, imagine if we got like a remake of Mario 64, like along with Ocarina of Time around the same time. Like, I think that would be awesome. Or if we got a Mario Maker 3, that'll let you make 3D Mario levels. If we got a Mario baseball game, which I've been waiting for like almost 20 years now. Because for me personally, there's not too much for the rest of 2026 for Nintendo where I'm like, I need to get this game on launch. Those games I think are interesting. I think I actually might pick up Rhythm Heaven Groove when that comes out, but it's not like something I'm super hyped for. Same with Star Fox. I'll probably get that a little after launch. Like, probably try to get it secondhand for a little cheaper. Fire Emblem, not a big Fire Emblem fan, especially not for the price tag. Splatoon Raider is another game. Like, I like Splatoon, but I could go a little bit without that game. Ocarina of Time is the one thing that like I'm really looking forward to on Switch 2 for now. But with this content drought of games I'm personally super interested in, I've been trying to go through a lot of my backlog on the Switch. Because at the same time, while I'd love for there to be new games like I just have to play, I don't mind it that much if it's not a ridiculously long drought. So I do have that time to go back and play games I haven't gotten a chance to play yet on my Switch. Because I have like 60 or 70 Switch games, like physical Switch games, and a lot of them I just haven't played yet or I haven't finished. So I've been playing some of those. Also, a lot of games on my PS5. I have a ridiculous amount of like PS4 and PS5 games also that I haven't played. So I've been replaying games, and they're actually just finished Reanimal yesterday, and it was actually a really fantastic game. I've replayed a couple of the Resident Evil games. So if you're like me, where you're a little disappointed that there's no new Mario game coming for the rest of the year, that's a totally valid feeling, even though people are probably going to mock you and say you only like Nintendo for Mario. And if you do only like Nintendo for Mario, I don't care. If someone else cares about that, that's their problem. Like, play the games you want to play. I would just say just try to give some other series a chance. The Switch 2 is still a great console to have, especially if you're into other Nintendo games, if you're looking to play third-party games on the go. So I think there's still a lot to love about the Switch 2, and I do hope we get new Mario games soon. And who knows, maybe we'll get a surprise game announced soon. Maybe there'll be a September announcement where some sort of remake or remaster is announced, and it'll just be something to kind of fill out the rest of the holiday season. Anyway, let me know in the comments, like, what are you going to be playing for the rest of the year if you have a Switch 2? What Mario games do you want to see? Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.